This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
Hello, Westerosi wedding guest. This is Josh with Fantology, and I am joined by McKenzie, who happens to be my wife. And I am so lucky to have her here with me. I think is this your first time on? No.
No, I've done maybe just one or two, but...
Okay. But we are joining you for a review of episode 5. Are we on now?
I think that was 5, yeah.
Episode 5 of House of the Dragon. And, oh boy, this episode has a lot to talk about. Initial thoughts without spoiling anything?
I thought that was a huge episode, that everything to this point led up to what happened in episode 5. And yeah, but it also at the same time set up for the rest of the season, like kind of solidified where every character is at and their motivations. Yeah,
there are a lot of simmering undertones throughout the whole episode, from the very beginning towards the very end. And we'll talk through, I guess, just kind of a general plot synopsis of the episode, but just mainly the things that stood out to us, what we think they mean. It seems like every scene in the show has tons of subtext and can be interpreted in so many different ways. So we're just going to talk through some of our readings of it, what we liked, if there was anything we didn't like. Neither one of us have read Fire and Blood, so we'll have full spoilers for the show up till this point, but we don't know enough to spoil anything else. So, all right. Well, we were just talking about the very first scene with Daemon and his wife, and McKenzie and I have slightly different interpretations of that scene. So why don't you tell us what happened, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Well, we see that Daemon's wife, for the first time we get to see her on her horse, and she's coming to talk to him, and the horse, whatever, knocks her off. Daemon finishes the job and kills her. Do you want to...
Okay, so McKenzie made a comment that that in her eyes, he's kind of irredeemable now. He didn't really say it like that, but...
Yeah, I think it's really hard to root for him after he kills his wife. That's like... There's nothing good about that.
Well, okay. I don't think that there's anything good about that, obviously. However, I don't know if he went there to kill her, and then, like, I think it's really hard to ascribe motivation to him, because he acts so irrationally so much of the time. So I think that he might have just gone, like, to either, end their marriage. I think he obviously had some nefarious purpose, because he was kind of sulking about, like, in a disguise. Okay.
Yeah, I think because of that, I think they were trying to make it clear that that was his intent.
But he didn't have any weapons that we saw, at least. He didn't, like, draw anything weapons. He didn't really even do anything threatening. And then his immediate, like, reaction was to leave her alive, right?
Yeah.
So why if he was going to kill her, why would that be his immediate reaction?
That's a good point. I just don't know if we'll ever get an answer to this, because it sounds like it wasn't something that was written anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we will get an answer, but I think that Daemon still... Okay, so here's how I saw it. I think that Daemon was going to try and go, end their marriage, and then he saw the horse startled, and I don't know, like, I saw some people thinking that he was trying to, like, stop the horse from bucking her off. Others, people thought that he was trying to cause the horse to buck her off.
That's what I thought.
Which could be. Like, that very well could be. I think that's what I thought initially. But then he went to leave her, and then she made fun of his impotence, which obviously isn't, like, a reason to kill someone. But I think that then it occurred to him that, like, she really hates me. She's going to make sure that everybody, like, even if I didn't try and cause this, she's going to tell everybody that I caused it. And now it's kind of like, in order for me to have any sort of life, I'm going to kill her, because she's going to, like...
And it was just an easy way for him to kind of get away with it.
True.
Like it was an accident.
True. And maybe that's what he was trying to do all along, was make it, like, try and startle the horse and make it look like an accident. I think that's probably the correct... Mm-hmm. But anyway, okay, there's that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, changes at least for me, changed my view on Daemon a little bit. Not that I loved him, but now it's really hard for me to have any hope for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Game of Thrones is really good about making you like characters that had done things that you thought were irredeemable. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in 3 or 4 seasons. You might be rooting for Daemon. Again, neither one of us have read the book, so he could die next episode. We don't know. So, okay, so that happens, and then we get into some of the politics of the episode, right? There's a cut straight to them sailing on the boat over to see Corlys and his wife.
I think that's what I remember coming next.
Yeah. So they go and they propose the marriage to Laura. We should have looked at these names. Loris? Laura? What's his name?
Well, maybe I'm skipping ahead, but I really appreciated the scene with Corlys and his wife, whose name I feel like I never get right either. But I feel like that's the most we've seen of her, and her intentions were, I kind of thought she was bitter and power hungry for the throne, but seeing her there, you see that it's more Corlys that wants that for her. And I still think she has that bitterness, but at the same time, she's kind of accepted the way things are and isn't trying to change it.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that was a really interesting conversation. It was kind of the coded language was, I think she had suspected a long time. She obviously knew her cousin well enough to kind of suspect that and accept that was a part of him. And, I think that the kids are handling everything better than the adults are, right? Because the adults are just saying, like, oh, what little concessions can I get? Like, what can I get out of Viserys to, like, obviously Viserys wouldn't have the name of the next heir changed, right? Like, obviously he would want it to be a Targaryen, but he was gonna propose that and then get some small concession. You can just see that to the adults, it's politics down to what the names of the kids are going to be. Mm-hmm. And for them, they're like, okay, well, we have this duty, how can we fulfill it so that we're both still happy? And they come up with a compromise, right? So this was interesting because it was okay, now the kids are actually more responsible than the adults right now, it seems like.
I don't know if I'd call them fully responsible, but
I don't know. They're each willing to do their duty and
that is true.
Come up with something that makes them both happy.
That is true. And was that scene before with Sir Kristen?
I think that was after, on their way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then they get on the boat. The marriage is arranged. They got on the boat and they talk to. She talks to Kristen. Kristen Cole comes up and says, "Hey, run away with me." This lowered my opinion of Kristen Cole a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. He didn't want to just be her whore, He wanted a good life with her. He was trying to redeem his honor. I don't know.
But that's not redeeming. That's forsaking your honor.
Well, he already had.
Yeah, but so he's a member of the King's Guard, not just her protector. So he's made these oaths to serve for his entire life on the King's Guard, and part of that is an oath of chastity. But it's to prevent things like this, the King's Guard just running away. And so to me, this is he's forsaking his oaths. He's trying to get her to forsake her duty. So I don't know.
Which I guess is true, kind of before she even said anything about.
Yeah,
staying with him.
Maybe if she went to him and she's like, I don't want this life. You're my protector. I want you to get me away from it. Okay, that's a little bit of a different story. But for him to go to her and try and get her to be willing to forsake his duty and get her to forsake her duty, it just seemed, it lowered my opinion of him. I don't know. That was my thought, at least.
Yeah, but you can kind of see where he's coming from too.
Well, yeah, I think he does love her and wants to spend a happy life with her, but he needs. And
in his mind, she's always just complaining about what she's doing,
Yeah, so if his only duty is to her, then I get that, but that's not his only duty. I think he also has a duty to the realm and a duty to the.
Big episode for him.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay. Yeah. This is even the worst thing. I don't know why I'm hung up on this because, okay, so.
But anyway, I was gonna say that scene with Rhaenyra, I think, was pretty big, just to show overall that she knew where her duty was, regardless of her desires. That this was bigger than her.
Which also I feel kind of makes her actions in the previous episode a little bit more petty because she she always knew that she was going to go along with it. She just wanted to, be free first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what happens next. We get some drama between Clubfoot. I think we pointed this out. So the new hand of the king is Strong. His last name is Strong. He's the one that always gives pretty good advice. King made him his new hand. Probably the best thing Viserys has done so far in the series, I think, is making the hand of the king the most intelligent advisor. But then his son is the one that was like, "Hey, I heard that Rhaenyra got some tea delivered to Alicent." So he's out there, scheming and conniving. What did you think of that whole scene?
I think you can see Alicent just kind of torn on what to believe, and this whole time she's wanted to believe Rhaenyra, and she's wanted good things for her, and she's tried hard, but I think with all the information she's receiving, it's hard for her to do that.
Yeah. In this, we did see Alicent being able to be manipulated, and she was in like a pretty, vulnerable spot, but like, this was kind of like, as a viewer, it looks pretty heavy-handed to see this guy being like, "Oh yeah, Rhaenyra had the tea issue," or at first he was like, "Oh, I hope she's well," and then he kind of just like played her really, really well, like now. So you see that Alicent is still like a young girl, which you also see in the scene with her father leaving and being like, "You need to like step it up, and either like you need to prepare your sons to lead because there's going to be a war if Rhaenyra is the heir."
Which I thought was pretty messed up, since he's the one that put her there.
Well, I don't know. It's so hard because I genuinely think sometimes like he's trying to do what's best for the kingdom. Like, he knows that the kingdom's not going to accept Rhaenyra as heir, so he knew that the king needed to make new heirs, and so why not have it, be his daughter?
Why not have it be the other girl?
Well, yeah, obviously there is some service going on, but obviously, and there was like tension between them, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so, I think that he saw that Corlys was kind of just out for himself too, and not really for the kingdom. So maybe he didn't want Corlys to have more power because he didn't trust Corlys to have more power. Like, I think that it's just so interesting because, like, I think he is genuinely, I don't know. It looks, I go back and forth, but I think he might be genuinely trying to do what's best for the kingdom, and that happens to line up what he thinks is best for himself. Okay, so this is all still setting the stakes for the wedding. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that happened that we want to talk about before the wedding starts?
I guess like Rhaenyra talks to the one that's the one she's gonna marry.
Kristen Cole?
No.
Oh. On the beach. On the beach.
Yeah, the beach.
Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah, that was earlier.
Yeah, and we see that he's in love with Joffrey, the king, Prince of Kisses or whatever, Knight of Kisses, and okay, and then we also get the scene where Kristen Cole goes and confesses that he totally, like, if he would have just kept silent, he could have dodged the whole thing. He could have not told Alicent what happened. Like, just say yes or no, man. Don't volunteer any information.
But he didn't know the rumors that were going on. He just thought it was directed at him. But
she didn't ask him a direct question. He volunteered.
He was probably feeling pretty nervous.
Yeah, then just say yes or no. Like, do you know if anything happened? I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know, man. You gotta keep it together.
I think after the conversation he had with Rhaenyra too, where he didn't feel like he could be with her anyway, maybe he was just feeling like it doesn't matter what happens to me now.
I think this is a poor performance from him. What and also, like, why was Alicent so upset about this? Rhaenyra didn't really lie to her. She kind of lied, but not really.
This is what was keeping me up last night.
Okay, all right, yes. We were trying to go to sleep, and McKenzie kept tossing and turning. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I can't stop thinking of this. Okay, so tell me.
I think this moment for Alicent was like the turning point, because the next time we see her, right, is when she walks into the wedding, or not the wedding, but
the festivities.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, I think, where she realized that her trust with Rhaenyra, like, that she couldn't actually trust her, even though she wanted to all that time, and she was, like, hoping that Rhaenyra was telling the truth, then she knew she wasn't. And so much hung on that trust with Rhaenyra. Like, her dad left because he was, accusing Rhaenyra, and Alicent was defending him, or defending her. So there was that, and then also, like, what her dad said was, like, either you need to, like, cling to Rhaenyra, beg for mercy, or, like, you need to, like, fight for your son to be the next heir. And so I think for her, she had to realize in that moment, like, okay, I'm not with Rhaenyra anymore, that's gone.
So even though Rhaenyra didn't, like, directly, like, explicitly lie to her, she knew that Rhaenyra didn't trust her.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she trusted her, she would have told her about Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Rhaenyra did lie, though. Didn't she say, like, I'm a maiden?
No, I think she said that he never touched me. We could go back
she
and...
also said that she was still a maiden, which I assume is...
Maybe. Yeah.
So
but
that's a lie.
Well, okay, but what she swore to her... I think what she swore about her, like, on her mother's grave about, was that Daemon didn't...
Right.
Daemon didn't...
Well, he did.
Well,
yeah.
He touched her, obviously. Yeah. It seems like...
Anyway, it was not the truth.
It was not the truth. Well, yeah, and it showed that she didn't trust her. Because if she trusted her, she would have gone to her about Kristen Cole, or at least, like, been truthful, like, not tried to skirt around and tell, like, half-truths, which for sure she did. So you think that this was the turning point, that this was, like, when she realized that she needed to take that her father was right, that she needed to preserve her own self-interests and not really align herself with Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, that, like, her life has just separated so much from Rhaenyra's. Like, Alicent didn't grow up thinking that she would, like, be in an arranged marriage. She probably thought she could marry who she wanted, and, like, somebody young and attractive to her, where, like, Rhaenyra is off doing these things, even though she has always known that she would, like, have to marry for duty, and Alicent will never have that. And so I don't know if there's, like, some jealousy too, but I think that kind of plays into her just not feeling connected to Rhaenyra anymore.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. So we go into the wedding festivities, and all these things are simmering, right? We get the that Alicent isn't there at the start, which kind of looks like peeves Viserys off. Then we get Daemon enters into the picture, and he's supposed to be banished, so you don't know how they're going to react to that. And Viserys is like, get him a chair. Viserys has been sick the whole episode, which we haven't even talked about. Missing more fingers, throwing up, like can't even stand for more than a few minutes. We get Rhaenyra has been keeping her secrets. We get the look at his name, Prince L. We'll just call him Prince L. Knows he has a secret lover. What else is there? What else is simmering? We get, and Daemon is also, like, being confronted about killing his wife, and then we get her cousin Hightower, whatever his name is there. Mm-hmm. Any other tensions that were simmering?
Did you say just Viserys kind of falling apart?
Yeah. Viserys sick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Alicent's not even there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all these different things are playing into this wedding, and I think this is your first Game of Thrones wedding, right?
It was. He warned me.
I warned her.
This is not going to be pretty. Yeah. I mean, I could kind of tell with the tension building and the music and everything.
Yeah. So you start off with these small little conflicts with Daemon being approached and kind of being like, well, I'm kind of your boss now, so you're going to have to deal with that. And then you get, what else? Any other small things that happen before Alicent enters the room? Yeah, I think...
You just kind of see how little he cared about Syfe, which we already knew, but, like, zero sadness.
Yeah, zero sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Just how can I spin this to be advantageous to me?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you get the highlight of the episode, one of the, I think, highlight scenes of the whole time, was when Alicent opens the door right during King Viserys' speech about bonding the houses or whatever. And all eyes are on her. She's wearing green. For us normies that haven't read the book, we get like some exposition about House Hightower wears green to summon the troops or whatever. I don't know. I kind of missed it, but it's kind of like, okay, we'll make this very clear that this is her picking a side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a slap in the face to Viserys and to Rhaenyra, and all eyes are on her. And now I feel like this is when the battle lines are kind of drawn.
Mm-hmm. I just thought that moment was really cool, especially, like, I didn't even watch the previews for the whole season, so I didn't know how big of a character Alicent would be. Like, at the beginning, she seemed like she would just be, like, the side character friend, but this episode seemed to be, like, so much about her. And I feel like through this season so far, she's had the most growth of anyone, just watching her. Yeah, she's completely transformed, and then this moment is just her making decisions and being her own person and kind of stepping into that power role and using her influence.
I agree. Yeah, it was stunning. The music was awesome. The costume was awesome. The whole set design of the room was great. Like, so much. And then we also get... Was that before or after she walked in where the Knight of Kisses, I might be saying that wrong, goes and confronts Kristen Cole and is like, hey, let's just, I know you have Rhaenyra and I have my man. We're going to just be like, a gentleman's understanding or something. But you could tell that rubbed Kristen Cole the wrong way because he like kind of like went for his sword as he walked away. You knew that Kristen Cole was not feeling okay. He was not all right.
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, just knowing kind of that his secret was out, and he had already told Alicent, so like, I guess he had taken that risk, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's okay. So now we can get into what do you think caused, what provoked Cole to act like?
Yeah, I was confused by his just outburst. It seemed out of character for him.
I don't know. I've heard some like online chatter that there was in like some preview or something. Somebody saw that he had a knife, which he did because he tried to stab Kristen Cole. But I think there's like in a preview or something, somebody screams he has a knife, and that's when Kristen Cole like jumped in from like what a preview made it look like. But that didn't look like it made it into the final cut of the show. So maybe they were trying to like debating on whether or not they wanted to have Kristen Cole be more or less justified in what he did.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was kind of acting as a protector, like that this guy was threatening their marriage and didn't want that for Rhaenyra, or if he was just super angry at the whole situation and out of control.
I think it has to be a combination of both, but it's like, which one was greater? Like, was he just super jealous and wanted to protect him and Rhaenyra's secret, or was he? But you think if this guy can walk in and figure out in like 5.2 seconds that Kristen Cole then you think that he would be like, all right, well, this is kind of out in the open now. It's just going to be kind of like an open secret.
I don't think it was to protect his secret. I think he was already willing to give up everything for that.
Was it just to protect their relationship then? What was the...
I don't know. That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah. So, anyway, he loses control, pummels the guy to death. Pretty horrific scene, and kind of throws the whole wedding into shambles. Everybody kind of leaves. Oh, and before that, we see Rhaenyra and Rhaenyra. Oh my gosh, I can't even think anymore. But we see her and Daemon like about to like start making out on the dance floor.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. What's going on, man?
Oh.
Like,
yeah, I forgot about that because then it just goes right into...
Yeah, like, what? Maybe he saw... I don't know. It was weird, but you see that Daemon is still, like, trying to get in there.
I mean, and now he's not married, so...
Yeah.
But, I mean, such a weird open place at her literal wedding celebration where everyone can see it. Yeah, it was so interesting.
like, are we just supposed to believe that they're so attracted to each other that they can't even, like, handle being within, like, 5 feet of each other? I don't know. Anyway, it was interesting. A lot of, it's pretty, they show us these things and then don't really give us answers to them. So it's fun to talk about and speculate about.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see where this all goes with Prince Elle and Daemon and Rhaenyra. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the wedding kind of goes off, or they have the wedding. They skip all the festivities. There's like, we're just gonna get you guys married, and then
you're just so sad for the prince.
Yeah, so sad for everyone, really.
Yeah, everyone, but especially him.
Yeah, Viserys just collapses. You don't know if he's dead or not. I mean, if you watch the scenes for the next episode, you do. But and then you see Kristen Cole about to kill himself out of shame, and then Alicent comes up and stops him or not stops him. Kind of ambiguous ending there. And then you get the last shot of the rat coming up and looking at the blood. So just kind of all crazy.
It's quite an episode. Yeah.
What do you think about losing the actresses for Rhaenyra and Alicent?
I mean, I'm pretty sad about it. I thought they've been so good. I'm a little attached to them, but at the same time, I knew this was coming. Hayden said that the other two are supposed to be amazing, so I'm really impressed that they found such good actresses that look alike and act so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great rest of the season. I feel like I'm like fully bought into the drama and the politics, and like I don't know who I want to win. I just want to see what happens. So I'm super excited to see the rest of the season. And I think that Game of Thrones at its best is about the politics and not just about the big action set pieces, which it kind of moved away from in the later seasons. So I'm happy that, it's really focusing on the drama surrounding it all.
Yeah, I've just seriously been amazed with the writing and how you really can like feel for every character, even though they're all in such different situations, and like even though they all have like justified motives, it's just such a mess,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I'm excited to watch the rest.
Yeah. Do you have any predictions? At this point, are you house? Because I think it's blacks versus the greens. I think that the greens are Alicent and the blacks are.
I don't know. After this episode, I'm kind of rooting for Alicent.
Greens?
I don't know, but it's hard not to root for the Targaryens too,
Okay. All right.
We'll
see. All right. Well, thanks for joining in. We're going to try and keep doing reviews for each episode. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments about anything that you want to point out that we missed about the episode that you feel like we really should talk about, make sure to leave a comment or jump on our Discord server, Fantology Discord server. All right. Thanks, and we'll see you next episode.